Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jacob Silverblade, and today I'm going to do a coaching guide on how to play Varro Tigurius. Very specifically, how to play the 2 stratagem Avenging Zeal, 3 stratagem, Avenging Zeal sort of combo with particularly Sergeant Talion as it stands. This is a very powerful deck. It has some crazy combos. It is more of a sort of mid-range, actually dare I say late game deck. And it's why, it's extremely powerful, but it's why Sergeant Talion is so broken, because what it does in the late game, he sort of does in the early game instead. So hence, when I go over this deck, I sent a message out in the last video asking, would you like to see a sort of a coaching guide on this deck? And when I go through it now, because for as I can tell, people want this. So, go to the actual cards. We've got Varro Tigurius. This is the deck I typically use. This is the deck I typically like. You do want a lot of early game in this deck, despite being a bit more late game. You want to be able to double codex with a tactical insight, to be able to get multiple triggers, to get multiple cost reduction on Avenging Zeal. You also want every single removal piece you can with a troop unit. So you want double Reaver, you want double Outrider, you want double Intercessor, you want double Inceptor Sergeant. There's a couple of things. I've got only one Eradicator. If the meta is very armor favored, it isn't particularly right now, but the meta is particularly armored favored, you can certainly take out a Chaplain and put in an Eradicator. That's an option. I would recommend it when it comes to if Dark Angel's got good again or something. But as it is right now, I would just only have one Eradicator. As much as Fairies in Drop Pod does exist, it doesn't often stay on the board, so there isn't particularly many armored units you actually need to be taken out right now. Hence, Prior's Chaplain is probably better on average. It's up to you. Doubles Octavius Infiltrator. The reason why this guy is really important is because he keeps your Warlord alive. It also keeps your flying units alive, the Primus Inceptors and the Inceptor Sergeants. It's all really crucial. You've got to have a whole bunch of Codex units. And there is one change that you can make to this deck. You can get rid of Sergeant Gadriel to put in Predator Annihilator. I find that I prefer Sergeant Gadriel overall, and it's particularly against go wide. You guess you could go Storm Talon, but I think Sergeant Gadriel is it's sort of like a go wide counter if you go wide yourself. You do have a bit of go wide yourself with the Primaris and Pulsers. So hence Sergeant Gadriel actually supports that, and they're able to get a lot of pings out and killing a lot of small things. Would recommend it. If you got it, I prefer it at least over Predator, but I have tried Predator myself, and I can certainly see someone making the argument that Predator is better than Sergeant Gadriel. And if you prefer that, go ahead, use Predator Annihilator instead. But now, this is the deck I personally prefer. Sergeant Talion, of course, is like the star of a show. If you get a Sergeant Talion 5e play where you do the whole combo, it is extremely powerful. It's one of the main reasons why we have so many free drops. If I could excuse having more free drops, I would. I just don't think really the Tech Marine really works in this particular deck. If I was going to do that, I'd either get rid of 1 drop or 7 drop to chuck in another free drop. But I don't think Tech Marine really works. We only have like Primus and Pulsar, and then the Outriders themselves, which actually Tech Marine really supports. Otherwise, there's really no support there at all, to be frankly honest. So, with that being said, let's get into a few games and how to play it well. Now, this is a bit of a problematic matchup, because you have 2 problems when you play Varro Tigurius. 2 main weaknesses. I'd recommend getting rid of that. Davis Infiltrator? Let's keep him. Don't really want 2 Octavius Infiltrators.
It's for us to decide.
You could get Scouts instead.
A red moon
but
rises tonight.
The first thing you pretty much always do turn 1, it's very rare that I don't, is you draw a card. We got Avenging Zeal, which is something we want for definite. Against aggro warlords, you definitely do want to place down troops early to try and hold off the amount of aggro which is coming at you. Because if they're trying to deal with your troops more, then they're not dealing with you as much, which is, I think, is very important. So I'd highly recommend putting Stern Guard Sergeant against like Nigel Cornstorm on Aggro Warlord, you know, maybe Ragnar at Blackmane, but also like things like Orc Warlords in particular, like Gordrang and then Mozrog. All those I think I would highly recommend. Okay, so we don't really have much here. I know the Octavius Infiltrator, but we need to put down threats. So we need to just play this, get the Codex off, and just put down threats. We're not going to get this card for quite a while, so we just need to put threats down. You know, we always draw turn 1, but after that, you need to weigh up whether you can card draw or not, or whether you can hold off. For example, against someone like Imatech, I just realized I had a serious echo going on there. My golly. But yeah, playing against Imatech, trying to think now. You want to hold off on the card. You do want to card draw more, because then you can just get all the key resources and make sure you get the cool to see stuff. If you don't play against Imatech and you're playing against Nigel Stormcaller, you want to go for something slightly different, which is playing what tempo plays. And even if you don't have Avenging Zeal, I would recommend it. So here, we're not facing that much. We just want to hold back even still. We are the control here. So here, I'm actually going to play Honor Guard, because he's going to get in the way, and then we're just going to draw trash him. And we're just going to leave it like this. Actually, maybe I was better off putting Honor Guard around this side. I know they don't have particularly much blast, so I doubt it's going to be a problem, but...
If tooth and nail are not enough, the chainsaw will bite.
So this right here is interesting. I think we utilize the Stern Guard Sergeant Outrider. Tactical Insight. Actually, I've just realized I want to... Slight misplay, but I want to punch here first. And let's draw the next stratagem. So that's to really get the cost reduction going. See, we are effectively on, you know, 23 life, and he's effectively on 19 life because he's got 2 hunt marks, and these guys are bound to die at some point. So don't think that we are much ahead by 10 life. Really, we're only ahead by 4.
If tooth and nail are not enough, the chainsaw will
Hunt mark is strong. He got him. I was hoping he didn't get that guy. I'm just thinking right now, can we utilize Sergeant Talion? I don't think so here. So we've got free drop.
There's no hiding from Ultramar's wrath.
So we either just use Shield, Might of Heroes. We use Octavius Infiltrator. I think I've got a plan. Yeah, we use Octavius Infiltrator.
Hold positions. We
Tactical Insight. put shield on ourselves. We'll see if he pings there. He doesn't. Bit of a shame. Avenging Zeal. Definitely shoot you here. Oh, we can either leave him on 1. Or we can kill him. No, I'm not. I'll go for the trade instead. But yeah, that's the general principle in like all these games, is that we want to be doing is that you want to evaluate whether you need to draw more cards, get those key resources to play a bit more late game, and if they're playing a bit more late game, that's what you typically want to do. Or you need to go along and say, do you know what?
So comes my time to stalk the
They're going aggro, I need to put down threats that I have to deal with. Uriel Ventress. Now, I'm going to presume he's going aggro, so I'm going to get rid of 1 Primaris Impulsor. Because I typically don't like 2 of something unless they're like flank plays.
The fate of the Ultramarines is bonded to you, Captain Ventress. We will not fail! We are Ultramarines!
So here we still draw for first turn. But we're definitely playing something like Outrider next turn, regardless of what we get. And it's really important that you put threats against aggro opponents. You've got to force them to deal with dealing what you put down, rather than you dealing with it. It does mean it's a little bit more RNG based, whether you get Avenging Zeal or not. Early to enable combos, but it's don't have to be a price you don't have to be willing to make. Aggro Warlords are a better counter to Varro Tigurius because it forces him to make decisions that he doesn't want to face against. Typically, more things like Imatech is actually a really good matchup for Varro Tigurius in general. Now, all he's been doing is Death from Above, which we should really see as a win. I'll take this opportunity to use my hero power again. Hopefully we get Avenging Zeal. We do not. Bit of a shame.
We are the sons of Gilliman.
And I would highly recommend here, we're very unlikely to actually get Avenging Zeal and able to pull it off as a sort of play. So I highly recommend here that you consider not doing stuff with things. Well, what was I saying? Highly unlikely we're not going to get Avenging Zeal play. Who cares? Let's just do it anyway. Just top deck it, guys. What difficulty could there be? Right, so when I get playing Outrider, and I am gonna punch this my Warlord. Punch that guy there. Blind him. Tactical Insight. When I get those smites going. He didn't deal with the firstborn, so I'm trying to punish him for it. And this is because we also got the Avenging Zeal. We also wanted able to use double Tactical Insight in this scenario. No, not double Tactical Insight. Go for a double proc of Tactical Insight here. So because we've done that, we've actually decreased it by 4. Whereas if we didn't go for Tactical Insight play, we even decreased it by 2 by playing 2 Codex units. So I wanted to do that anyway. So I'm guessing he's going to go for the firstborn. I mean, like, maybe a big guess, but... So here, I'm going to utilize my High Factory. You have to utilize it for some kind of advantage. So I'm going to utilize it to get Sergeant Gadriel out. And it just means that, he can't play... If he plays his 7-drop, I've got a 7-drop to deal with his. Or he's going to have to hard move with him. So that's what he opts for. But now we can save our Tactical Insight for like a Primaris Impulsor play, potentially with another drop if we're lucky. Or we can go for Lieutenant Calcius. I think I prefer that.
Form up and advance.
We're just gonna separate the health gap. Nice. So here we could go aggro. What, we left on 15, double death from above? Yeah. I think getting that left-hand Calcius play was absolutely, I'm not gonna deny, absolutely a perfect there. And like, we still haven't got Avenging Zeal. We've only just got it to a place where it's playable now, in my opinion. Question is, does he have Humanity Shield or not? No, he has so-and-so. Thankfully, we did get Avenging Zeal, lucky us, and we're able to do this. Reason why that's a big deal is because Reaver.
They'll be dead before they see me coming.
And now we got a guaranteed finish. So, as you've seen from the past couple of games, this is a pretty darn strong deck. You do have to play it right when you don't have Sergeant Tallien. But I will say this deck becomes giga busted when you do get Sergeant Tallien and becomes almost unbeatable. I'm not going to say unbeatable because one guy has done it. And basically it was the new Space Wolves Great Tactics. And I think it was half. The combination of the two just did a whole bunch of damage to face and cleared all of Sergeant Tallien. So, yes. Now, he didn't go aggro here, which is a good thing for us, because I think we want to be playing the long game with Avenging Zeal. If you do get, like, one of the 3 stratagems in your starting hand, I would keep it. However, if you get 2 of your stratagems in your starting hand, I would get rid of one of them. That's my recommendation. The stratagems are crucial and important, but you also want to be able to utilize your hero power for some kind of advantage. Now, here it's very risky to go along for Sternguard Sergeant. Now you can take it in a sense that you could play Sternguard Sergeant and then High Factory Tactical Insight, but frankly honest, if you don't be doing that, I'd rather be using Intercessor Sergeant. The other option is just to go for Primus Reaver.
They'll be dead before they see me coming.
And guarantee it. Now, we got this, and this is an option. You can sacrifice a High Factory for the 3rd Tactical Insight. However, second Tactical Insight. However, I'm not hold off. I don't really see the benefit of doing that, but that is an option that you can make, and sometimes it is worthwhile. Give me a second, hold on, someone's knocking at the door.
For courage and honor!
Right, I am back. What is the best play here?
Must be chosen with care.
It could just be Honor Guard, to be honest. No, I want to save, because these are all 3 of them are somewhat removable plays. So I want to save them, so I want to kind of put a tempo play, because I can utilize that. So I'm just going to play another Honor Guard. It gets in the way, it's in its face, it's a problem. We want to utilize, if we can, sometimes you can't avoid it, you want to utilize your tactical insights for double Codex trigger, because then you get cost reduction of Avenging Zeal off down by 4. So you definitely want to do that where you can. Alright, yeah, no. Option 2 is you go Sergeant Tallien. It's still doable because we've got
Strike at their
6
weakness
drops
to prevail.
and what is it? Sun Guard Sergeant.
Shot by shot, we will purge the galaxy.
We are going to have to draw a stratagem. We're still going to get a lot of procs here. And I did want to some point show off the power of just what this deck does. I didn't think about this part. What I could have done is I could have used Octavius Infiltrator next, after drawing the stratagem, then going for Avenging Zeal. But now, since because we're at free cost, what it would have meant is we would have got another Codex trigger,
And the Primarch.
which would have been nice.
Hold positions. We strike soon.
But as you saw there, this guy was like on 23 life, I think it was, and we just pinged him to death with a Stone Guard Sergeant. We didn't even get it on curve. We got it on 6 energy.
Part of the War Master's great plan.
To say it's really bloody good, I think is an understatement, and that's why I think he needs enough. So, you've seen Sergeant Talion against 2 aggro warlords. You've seen when Sergeant Talion, Varro Tigurius, 3 stratagem Varro Tigurius against 2 aggro warlords, 3 stratagem Varro Tigurius when you get Sergeant Talion and pulls off the broken place. I kind of want to show you if against a control deck here. So hopefully we get one. Not saying that we will. I think this is actually pretty darn good. Avenging Zeal is like a really, really nice
What is
card
yet
to have.
come is for us to decide.
You should be focusing on the real enemy.
Regardless of what we do, draw cards first. I would recommend holding off against Imperial Guard. Ursula Creed can certainly be a really powerful aggro warlord. I'm not going to deny it. She can cause a lot of problems. She also went second as well, so you could just go spamming the board here, like so. See, there's no question we're going to use Reaver.
They'll be dead before they see me coming.
We try to remove things where we can. We need to keep the pressure down because it's very possible that's going for the aggro version.
Down.
So here, I think there's no doubt we punch that guy there. Question is, do you use Reaver or Chaplain? Now, I think Tempest the Sergeant is going to trade into this guy really nicely. But I don't think you particularly have much choice. Because you could go Reaver and then smite this guy. But I think I'm going to go Chaplain.
Trust in the Emperor at the hour of battle.
I think we need an excuse to play him. And even if it just means trading with free drop, so be it. We need like the Reaver to deal with other things and have threats and stuff.
Cadia stands.
So he opts to not trade with the Chaplain. That's huge here. Okay, let's see what he gets. What I get. That's not the greatest. Not to deny, it's not the greatest. We probably want to just then do this and shield on the Chaplain. No doubt Reaver goes here. Question is, do we remove this guy? Do we remove this guy? He's already used his duty ability, so I'm opted going for here. However, I very much could be wrong. Do we punch you? Logic dictates that you shoot here, but I could just be wrong on that. Nah, I'm gonna opt to not punch you or shoot you. Yeah, next turn we're most likely going to be using Primrose and Bolter with Tactical Insight, because it really reads really quite well into Sergeant Gadriel play. There's a decent chance that something lives. And we don't, as it stands, we literally have no other options, so take what we can. Ogrin?
Extra!
Okay. That's, I think, overall pretty darn good for us. Eradicator could be really useful against Imperial Guard, but in the moment, not right now.
From Ultramar's wrath.
We're gonna go for the Smite, and hopefully we do 2 damage or more here. Done. So now, because we didn't do that, we're not going to trade into this guy. Because there's a good chance he's going to be using that to trade into here with Ursula Creed or something. Or Vitus Griff instead. We can go for Sergeant Gadriel. We could go Primaris Impulsor. I'm gonna go for Sergeant Gadriel, I think, because Primaris Impulsor, we could go for a shield here. We'd have to go for a shield play because we want to utilize the Tactical Insight.
Each path must be chosen with care.
Meh, I guess we could go just Primaris Impulsor, Smite, and leave Sergeant Gadriel for the next turn. I don't particularly like it. Question is, like, when we're able to use Tactical Insight play with this guy. Where we can use Tactical Insight play for Sergeant Gadriel next turn. I'm gonna go for Sergeant Gadriel.
Take them down!
Bit of a shame we didn't get a kill there, but at least we got the other guy. I don't know, that was a difficult decision there. It's hard to say. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. So this is where we really want a free drop. So he's not going to risk it, he's just going to take the damage. The reason why we really want a free drop is because Eradicator is a thing. But we didn't get it. So I think here we're going to use some Primaris Impulsor.
There's no hiding from Ultramar's
We're just going to have to smite the bucker. And then we can blind him.
Hold positions. We strike soon.
And we might as well shoot him. Because I think any damage on this guy counts. So we really want a 4-drop or 3-drop here next turn. To be able to get a double Tactical Insight play. Not only is it going to allow us to get Avenging Zeal off, which is going to be massive, it's also going to allow Primaris Eradicator to just kill what he wants. So hopefully we get that. Or we can get like Pisto Librarian or something. Ouch. Talk about target priority. Flippin' heck. Oh my golly. Things can just go wrong. Things really can just go wrong. So we got a free drop, thank goodness.
We bring the fires of retribution.
Let's get a
Burn them
shield.
down.
Tactical insight. I'm thinking put the shield on this guy. So at least we brought it back here. Thank goodness.
New orders in from command.
Rogel Dawn. Baneblade. Chimera?
Prepare for immediate deployment.
So what does he decide to do? Yeah, then you can use that guy to stun me. Unfortunately, we're not getting any Codex play here. So the best thing we can do really is clear here. And unfortunately, it's just going to be a smite over here. So that allows the Outrider to clear you. This is the second weakness of Varro Tigurius, in the fact that he can lack what's it called? Board clears? No, he can lack resource advantage. So it does get to this stage in the game and you can start running out of resources, which is never ideal. I will say I do think we got pretty unlucky this game, but that is going to happen. So he's got the 2 damage he needed. And that's GG. Good game. See you next time. So what you saw there at the end is kind of what happens when you do get unlucky at the end of the day and you don't quite get the right things. Then you can lose because of that. This deck isn't unbeatable. It's got actually, I guess, quite a bit of a range of power. It can go from like where most decks is like mid to medium to high-ish. I'm just gonna replace these cards. Do I replace Relegator? No, let's not. This deck can go for like sort of instead of low, it goes to mid. Because even then, I wasn't really doing that badly. But it can go to absolutely giga busted with if you get the Varro Tigurius combo off. So I kind of wanted to just show every aspect of it. And what you even if you get into like a mid situation, you're still not helpless. You still can do things.
This is where my saga begins.
So I just want to play one more deck, and particularly if I can get control of matchup, because that was more like mid range. So he went pulled out some aggro. Here we're definitely going to use Intercessor Sergeant. As much as I want Avenging Zeal, you know, he pulled out a lot of damage play right there. So we need to like hold back. Because the Space Wolves are still giga broken and still need to be dealt with.
To see our victory.
So it's got his hero power. There's no doubt you go for extra melee attack. But you really should kill Intercessor. Ah, I see. Nah, I think I would do the same. I just find it... I mean, I know one of his is counter-attack. Bound to be, right? But I still find it crazy he's like somehow on 5 cards despite everything. So here I am going to go for a card draw. And I go for Firstborn. And it's just because I have an excuse to get the Avenging Zeal off. We'll see what he does next. What counterplays he has, what he doesn't. But now we've got everything we want to have in hand. Okay. Hunting wolf, yeah. He decides not to punch me there. I find that interesting. We don't really want to use Primus Eradicator into a situation where it's more valuable. So we're just going to go for this. Trigger that Codex. It's all helpful. We'll see what next turn brings him. We could have gone for Tactical Insight play, but it would have really not been that valuable. At best, we could have gone for Tactical Insight Reaver. We could have a 6-attack Chaplain and a 4-attack Reaver. Like, and then we have no flank plays. Not the biggest fan, to be frankly honest.
This is where my saga begins.
Oh my god, he's still on 5 cards. I guess he did card draw, didn't he? I guess. Here we just need something.
We bring the fires of retribution. Burn them down.
In fact, I'm going to put down Primus Reaver as well.
Before they see me coming.
We just need as much distraction as possible because we got 2 big drops right here. So we need to have something he has to deal with. I want him to force to deal with Reaver and the Eradicator also. And then that gives us as much an excuse as possible to then put down an Epistle Librarian or Sergeant Gadriel. That's what we need. We need excuses to make these sort of high cost plays. Well, that's his turn decided. That's all of this gone, and he's going to do 4 damage to me. Here we're just not play Blister Librarian.
Knowledge is my
We just need to
blade.
live.
Wisdom, my bullet.
I like the idea of living. Personal preference of mine. He just lets down 4 energy. Oh yeah, let's move this Blister Librarian. No, I think I've saved you for the following turn. Here we're gonna go Chaplain Sternguard.
Trust in the Emperor at the hour of battle.
Tactical Insight. And I think we just want to go whole hog. You know, he's been really quite lucky here, getting like the ideal thing. We just want to use everything. We want to just put down a threat and just be like, this is in your way now. We use shield on ourselves. Or the Chaplain? On ourselves. We're actually gonna punch him.
I can't do
Because
this.
he can probably quite easily remove the shield just by doing 3 pings. So we'll see what happens afterwards. Bjorn? Does he do 2 or 3 damage to this guy? Let's be fair. Or does he do 2 or 3 damage to this guy? Does 2 all around. This is what we needed. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is absolutely what we needed. Fortunately, he's got a counter attack, which... Oh no, you can't use the tone, so he's not gonna use hero power. No, not hero power. He's just gonna trade with face. I'm so glad I punched in the face now. Smite. Because we can't deal with that. Sergeant Gadriel.
Take them down.
Come on. Oh, thank goodness. And that's why Sergeant Gadriel's better than Predator, because Predator would have shot that guy, Sergeant Gadriel shot face. So, you know, face is the place, everyone. Anyway, I think that's enough on the coaching guide. In short, with this deck, is that you gotta be, it is a thinking deck. You do have to be smart with what you use, how you use it, the plays you make, that sort of thing. You've not saying that you have to start predicting what's the top of your deck and what's most likely to get it, but you do have to somewhat factor in. You do have to figure out averages. You know, if you run a whole bunch of low cost stuff, you're probably gonna draw a high cost thing instead. Well, with this deck, it does lean towards the lower cost free end of things, but you know, it's just rule as averages. If we get a whole bunch of high cost stuff, you know, on average you're gonna get lower cost things later on. So you do have to factor in, you do have to play around that. And you just have to try and make as best plays as possible, really. There are a couple things that I noticed that some people use in their decks. In particular, I notice a lot of people use this guy. I really don't like this card. I think the Codex just stunning a random enemy is really bad. And I think it's always going to hit the wrong target. Basically, that's what I find, is that the stun is always going to hit the wrong target. And then this guy is just a very poorly statted unit, which then doesn't really do anything. Quite often I see him stunning targets which are already dead, which is not great. I've seen that happen in the past plenty of times. Another unit you can have sometimes seen play, not nearly as often, but it's Sergeant Atalius. His blind ability, same with this guy. It's random. You can't predict it, can't control it. Really, you need a tactical insight with both these guys. And the tactical insight is no sort of guarantee. You can't like opt out of not using a tactical insight when you use these guys, because it's only 6 energies, so you have to field in 1 energy somewhere. So like you either stun 2 targets, or like you only stun 1 and you don't have a choice on the matter. So hence I personally really wouldn't recommend using this unit, despite it being a Vanguard troop in particular. That's why I think people use it, because it is a Vanguard troop, and Varro does suffer from aggro a little bit, and Vanguard does help deal with aggro. But I don't think it's ultimately, I just don't think it's ultimately worth it, and not good enough. I have also seen a couple decks out there where they've used the land speeder instead of maybe some of the other 4-drops, and they've then chucked in, because of that, they've then chucked in the Primus Tech Marine. Now I can see that combo play, and they've even chucked some decks I've seen on Antonio Cronus. I have seen that. I can understand why you would want to do that, because you've got double Outrider as it is, you know, you've got double Primus and Pulsar. You probably have a Predator in this deck, and if I was going for, you know, Tech Marine, I probably would go for Predator instead of Sergeant Gadriel. I understand that. However, Land Speeder ultimately doesn't have Codex. I'd rather have more Codex units, and we desperately do need 3-drops and not particularly 4-drops, to be frankly honest. So I would recommend not doing that, but I can understand, because as you saw in the Imperial Guard matchup, Land Speeder does specifically provide card draw and some extra cards in that matchup. Yes, I know I got unlucky. Yeah, it wasn't the best thing in the world. Don't get me wrong, I think he got the perfect pings, blah 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 blah. Even still, the extra card in that scenario would have been nice. Don't get me wrong, it would have been nice. So hence, I'm not saying it's completely stupid. If y'all don't do it, definitely chuck in Tech Marine by that point. I think you've got enough vehicles. If you're chucking in Tech Marine, I would chuck in Predator, because that could be a synergy as well. You know, there's certain things I just would do at that point. But ultimately, I just don't think it really, even though it does show up some of the weaknesses, it doesn't really fit with the game plan for me. So I opt off not taking it. Finally, you can take Scouts instead. If you struggle with removal in the right scenarios, I can see it. However, I think the Octavius Infiltrators, particularly for this deck, is better. And just the blind, meaning that you don't take too much damage back, means that you've got more life in your ward. You can trade better with certain units, trade for free sort of thing, particularly flying units. It's kind of huge. So I would recommend just sticking with the Octavius Infiltrators for now. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.